appreciate you, my friend. All right, without further ado, welcome to the market update and power up. It is November 25th. It is Thanksgiving week. Super excited to be here with all of you. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I see. Wait a minute. We got Miss Casey Council in the house. What's going on, Miss Casey? Good to see you. Awesome. Very cool. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Want to make sure that if you guys can give me a quick thumbs up that you guys can see my screen. Okay, cool. Awesome. Welcome to the Business Planning Workshop with Mr. Shon Kakosa. I'm going to go over a couple of updates, and then we're going to hand over the stage to Shon. So you guys already know the drill. I love to get these meetings started up with a bunch of energy. So I would love for every single one of you to unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves. We're going to say the affirmations together as a community. Yes, we're going to get a little bit loud. Yes, we're going to warm up those lungs. We're going to get the energy right. So are you guys ready?
Yes.
Right. So we're going to say, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, power up. You guys already know the drill. So 1, 2, 3, power up.
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 High energy equals high income.
High energy equals high income.
Every day and every way, I'm getting better and better.
Every day and every way, I'm
getting better and better.
Every day and every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger.
Every day and every way, I'm getting
Stronger and
Stronger.
Every day and every way, I'm getting smarter and smarter.
Every day and every way, I'm
getting
getting
smarter.
I sign a new listing today.
I sign a new listing today.
I open a new escrow today.
I open a new escrow today.
I was born to win.
I was born to win.
I will never surrender.
I will never surrender.
Always keep growing.
I will
always keep
Growing.
I was born to be great.
I was born to be great.
Great.
Today will be the best day of my life, no matter what.
Today will be the best day of my life, no matter what.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for playing full out. Go ahead and mute yourselves in the background. And also, now let's tune into the energy of gratitude. What can be at least one thing? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. What's at least one thing you could be grateful for this day today? I'm grateful to have the opportunity to wake up. I'm grateful for the ability to breathe. Come on, guys, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. One thing at least you could be grateful for. I'm so grateful for my heart, right? Because without my heart, I'm none of us are here. And Rob Ross said tacos. Grateful for my health. Grateful for my life. Waking up today. Yes, my family. Absolutely. Grateful to be grateful. Yes, yes, yes. I'm grateful for Shon Kakosa to be here today. I'm super grateful for him. I'm grateful to already have completed my workout. Yes, I know I was in the mountain hiking this morning. I feel that. Yes, grateful for a community. Absolutely, absolutely. Love it. Thank you guys so much for chiming in. Some gratitude, because gratitude is an abundance multiplier. So our goal as a community is to serve 21,000 families, $10 billion in production, and to attract 10,000 agents. Now, I'm going to do a quick little market update, local, not local, but local. And I'm going to cover 5 counties, and I'm going to talk about, LA, Riverside, San Bernardino, Orange County, and San Diego. If your county's not here, make sure you tune into the MLS, get your statistics for the last 7 days. Very important that we know our numbers. But look at the numbers, guys. Thanksgiving week, right? Last 7 days, 1.4 billion in LA, 695 million in Orange County, closed in the last 7 days, 517 million in San Diego, 388 million in Riverside, and 254 million in San Bernardino. If we total out all of the production, that's $3.3 billion in production in the last 7 days, 3,000 homes, and $82 million in commissions paid. By the way, I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, but Mike Del Prete did a really cool stat that sent out an email, but it looked at commissions for real estate professionals prior and after the August 17th, right, settlement. And what he noticed, like many of us, is that the commissions didn't change, stayed exactly the same, right? So everybody was freaking out and all this other stuff, and like, who knows what's going to happen next, right? I know that there's another thing about the DOJ now happening, but we'll get into that later, another meeting. But without further ado, I actually want to give a special guest, Mr. Carlos Becerra, to do a quick mortgage update. I asked him, like, hey, what's up, bro? What are the interest rates? What's going on in the mortgage world? Let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Leo, thank you for having me on here. Chuck, if it's really your birthday, happy birthday, man. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, awesome.
What's going on with the mortgage world is a very good question. I don't know. As much as I do it every day, the first thing I do when I get to my computer, I go on Google and I click mortgage rates. Everyone wants to know what's going on and what's happening because the feds keep dropping the rates. I'm sure you guys know, but if you don't, the feds dropping the Federal Reserve rate has nothing to do with mortgage rates. Complete opposite, guys. Two separate worlds. Federal Reserve rate impacts can help or benefit the rates, but ironically, the last 2-3 months that the feds have dropped Federal Reserve rates, rates have gone up. Why? There's a whole lot more to it behind closed doors that I don't know myself. That's why I go on Google every single day and I get educated. I do know, right? But it's so complex. There's so much going on. But FHA VA rates opening up this morning, average 5.875 to 6.25. It's not bad if we look at where we were a year ago. So there's been a benefit. They've been dropping. It's been improving. Conventional, still peaking a little high. You got 6.5 to about 6.875, to be honest with you. So if you guys aren't too aware, but not too long ago, the FHA actually slashed in half the mortgage insurance premium. So everyone's always asking, what's better, FHA or conventional? About a year and a half ago, ironically, conventional with the higher rate actually had a lower payment than FHA with the lower interest rate. Nowadays, FHA is a lot better if your client's able to qualify for it, which most of them can. Obviously, the difference there is some condos are not FHA approved. Hottest program I have right now that's been helping my clients and I with these ugly rates, FHA VOE loans. They work like crazy. Everyone almost is suited for it. Obviously, it's a case-by-case scenario and conversation with clients. But if you guys have anyone in the last 6 months currently shopping or can't qualify for something that they're looking for, put them in contact with me. That is my #1 program that has been working.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for that awesome mortgage update. And
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead and reach out to Carlos if you guys have any additional questions. Also, guys, because this is a short week, we are going to have trainings all the way up until Wednesday. Obviously, we're going to be taking Thursday and Friday off, so we're kind of shortening up the calendar a little bit. But we're going to have a lot of powerful stuff happening this week, regardless of the fact. We have the Realtor Mastermind that's happening on Wednesday. We just had a powerful 9 o'clock mastermind, and then also Skills Mastery, I believe, is going to be rescheduled until next week. So also, last reminder before we move on to our special guest, guys, FastCap. For those of you that have already registered for FastCap, congratulations. FastCap is absolutely insane. I'm getting so many text messages from many people within our community. I think this one is already almost at full capacity, guys. So if you haven't registered for the next one, which is January 8th, and you missed the last one, make sure you register now because it's going to be booked out. So, and Terry will drop in a link there for you guys to get registered. So now let's move on to our special guest. Very excited. I'm going to go ahead and let me go ahead and mute everybody in the background. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and do that. All right, very cool. So let me tell you guys a little bit of Shon. Shon Kakosa is a $1 billion agent with over 28 years of experience. Having sold more than 4,000 homes, he has earned his elite distinction in being in the top 100 for both RE/MAX and Keller Williams worldwide. And beyond his achievements in sales, Shon is a transformative leader. As former president of Keller Williams MAPS Coaching and Business Training, the #1 training organization in the world, he has shaped countless real estate careers. Shon is also a certified John Maxwell coach and co-creator of programs like KW Bold and the One Thing Training Curriculum, based on the best-selling book by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. His ability to simplify complex strategies into actionable systems have helped top producers consistently achieve success. As an entrepreneur, Shon has built a successful business, developing high-end performing teams, and inspired tens of thousands of professionals, not only in real estate, but in industries like McDonald's, FedEx, PepsiCo, and Gene Tech. Today, as founder of Icon Coaching, Shon continues to make an impact by providing tools, strategies, sessions, and webinars to help agents like us increase listing, sales, and profitability and productivity. Without further ado, Mr. Shon Kakosa, welcome to the Power Up and Market Update. Thank you so much for being our special guest. Let's go.
Leo, it's my pleasure, man. For a second, I'm going to close my eyes because it felt like you were giving a eulogy, So with that said, guys, I'm going to start off today with my favorite riddle. How many of you guys like riddles, like to think about them, solve them? I mean, it exercises our mind muscles, right? And it makes us a little bit smarter, a little bit faster. So here's my favorite riddle. What can you sit on, sleep on, and brush your teeth with? What can you sit on, sleep on, and brush your teeth with? Well, here's the answer. It's a chair, a bed, and a toothbrush. Now, let me ask, did we make that maybe a little bit more complicated? And maybe it needed to be. Well, of course we did, because of our neuro associations to the word riddle. Well, it must be, kind of clever. It must be complicated. What's the answer? It's all got to be one thing, right? Yet many people have the same neuro associations to the words business planning. Oh, it's a business plan. Leo, it must be really complicated. No, guys, simple straight lines. And I love simple straight lines. Now, for the first part of our time together, I'm gonna be laying a foundation. What I want is just a concrete, rock solid foundation that we can build your business upon. So I'm going to dive into some basic mindset concepts. I'm going to talk through some strategy and tactic throughout this call. And you're going to walk away with just strategies and tactics you can implement and deploy within your current strategy today, like right now. By the time we're done, I think you'll have the framework, the understanding as to how to plan 2025. And I think that's critically important. You've heard it said 1,000 different ways. If you fail to plan, you plan to what? To fail. No doubt about that. So we're going to talk a lot about this word today. And let me go ahead and share my screen just real fast. Here we go. Give me a quick thumbs up if you can see my screen. Fantastic. All right. So thank you for the intro, Leo. No need to go through that slide. Here we go. We're going to talk a lot about this word, success. Now, here's what I want you to do. Just really quickly, write down your definition of this word. Like if you were to describe this word to a teenager and define this word, what would you say? And now that you've had a couple of minutes to think about that, maybe you've jotted a couple of things down, I want to hear from a couple of you. So go ahead and unmute yourself and share with me, what is your definition of this word success? In fact, Leo, let's start with you. How would you define this word?
Freedom.
Freedom. I like that word.
Yeah.
That's a great word. Freedom. Fantastic definition. Somebody else. What is your definition of the word success?
And I just opened up the microphones for you guys, so you guys unmute yourselves or put it in the chat, guys. Oh, we got somebody in the chat here. Financial freedom, happiness.
Financial freedom and happiness. Love that. And I'll babysit the chat as well.
Achieving your goals.
Oh, I like that definition. What a great definition.
I think
Somebody else, just real quick.
Hi, everybody. I think success is waking up every morning and doing what makes you happy, being healthy.
What a great definition. I love it. Now, guys, let's admit that if we had the time, if we took the time and we asked 10,000 people, what is your definition of this word? We'd probably end up with around 10,000 different definitions. Y'all with me on that?
Yeah.
So to me, the word is a bit confusing. It's a bit elusive. It's hard to kind of get your arms around this. Am I a success? Well, I went to Webster's dictionary, gang. I just looked up the word. I thought if I understood it, the definition that is, then I too could be a success. So here's the definition according to Webster's, and I love it. It's so simple. Success is getting what you want. Not what Leo thinks you should want or what I think you should want. It's really about getting what you want at the end of the day. Like you might not be like Chris Waters, one of my clients in Austin, Texas. Look at this, guys. He closed over 5,000 transactions last year alone, 2.4 billion in sales volume last year alone, over 58 million in GCI. Another one of my clients, Mark Spain, 8,800 transactions last year, 2.73 billion in sales volume, 68.2 million in commissions. Maybe Dan Krembashevsky, he approached me in 2021. He had closed 16 units, 4.3 million in sales volume, about 108,000 in GCI, not bad. Now, in 2 years' time, he increased 123 closed units, 36.9 million, and almost 1 million in GCI. Now, this year, guys, he's on track to earn over 1.4 million in gross commission income. And how did he do it? By adopting the methodology that we're going to be talking through today. And yet, just remember, if you want to close 2 transactions a year, 200 or 2,000 transactions a year, as long as you're getting what you want, you're a massive success to me. In fact, you think about that word success, even a homemaker can be a massive success. When I think of this word, I think of my wife. You know, her number one ambition in life is to have her 3 beautiful kids look her in the eye and say, you're the best mother on the face of the planet. you know what? They will do that. So to me, she is massively successful. Success is not all about money, yet money is good for the good it can do. And let's agree, we can do a lot of good things with a lot of money. How many of you guys want to make 2025 the best financial year of your life? Come on, show me your hands if you do. 2025, the best financial year of your lifetime. Now, guys, what if I told you it's going to be very hard? You still want to make it the best financial year of your life? What if I told you there's just a handful of things that you must do consistently in your business, day in and day out? And when you do, you will have the best financial year of your life. How many of you would be willing to do that, to have the best financial year of your life? All right, we're going to break it down to the simplistic today. We're going to have a lot of fun with it as well. Now, this comes straight from the book, The One Thing. What I want you to do is I want you to draw these 3 circles on a piece of paper. If you're driving, don't worry about it. Just visualize this with us. And go ahead and fill in those 3 words into each circle. The top circle, put in the word no. Lower right circle, the word do, and the lower left circle, write the word have. Now, these 3 circles, they represent everything there is to know, everything there is to do, and everything there is to have. Now, here's the simple truth is that you'll never know it all. How many of you know somebody who thinks they know it all? How many of you live in the same household as that person, right? By the way, you'll never do it all. Have you ever gone on vacation with somebody who wants to do it all? It's painful. Not a vacation at all. You need a vacation from that vacation. By the way, you'll never have it all. You could be the wealthiest person on the face of the planet and you'll never have it all. So here's what I want you to do. After you've drawn the 3 circles, I want you to draw a triangle just like this, where the points of the triangle go about to the center of the circle. Go ahead and do that real quick. And you can see how the point of the triangle creates kind of that piece of the pie in each one of the circles, yes? Now that piece of the pie represents everything you'll ever know, everything you'll ever do, and everything you'll ever have. And at the center of the triangle, I want you to write in 2 powerful words, it's my choices. By the way, you made a great choice to align with Leo. You made a great choice to align with EXP. And you made a great choice to be here today. So congratulations to each and every one of you. I have a great deal of respect for your investment of time. In fact, I've got just a couple of critical goals. Number 1, I want to help you strengthen the depth, the width, the amount of rebar of your foundation, the amount of concrete, right? See, with the right foundation, you can build your business as big as you choose to build it. So we're going to strengthen that today. Now, a lot of people, they think success looks just like this, right? I get my real estate license and man, right out of a cannon, my first year in real estate, I closed over 100 transactions. Gang, it does not work that way. In fact, anybody who's achieved extraordinary success will tell you it does not look like that. In fact, it looks more like this. See, success is a mess, and anybody who's been there will tell you exactly that. Now, I want to let you in on a quick secret. The individuals that I've been coached by, or that I've personally had the honor of coaching for, here's the secret. They fail faster than anyone else. They fail faster than anyone else, yet they fail forward in their mindset. Failure is not an option, only learning experiences. It's kind of like the archer who misses the target. They turn to look for fault within him or herself. A lot of people say, well, repetition is the mother of all skill. And I disagree. I think it's about evaluated repetition. See, guys, it's never the bullseye's fault if you miss the bullseye. So the archer who misses a little bit to the left, that first shot, well, if they're smart, they're going to course correct. They're going to fail forward. And the next arrow, they're going to aim a little bit further right. You all with me on that? Now, this requires a mindset shift. And let me digress just for a moment. See, a lot of realtors especially, they're into what I call fixing things. And they've adopted a mindset of fix, fix, fix. They put out this fire, they put out that fire, they handle the next problem, and they feel more like a firefighter at the end of the day than they do a professional. Can anybody relate other than me? See, one thing I love about real estate sales, it's a very calm and predictable business, right? No, anything can go sideways, and it happens all the time. Yet the realtors that are stuck in this fix, fix, fix mindset, they generally reach a much lower natural ceiling of achievement. Now, those that adopt the new mindset, which is fix, prevent, meaning something happens. Yes, it's frustrating. We fix it once, and then we install a system to make sure that it never happens again. This keeps you out of a victim mindset too, by the way. It's about fix, prevent, rather than fix. This is how great businesses are built. This is how great systems are built. All right, moving on. I want to just quickly, again, we're focused on foundation. I want to share with you 9 outstanding characteristics of every single individual that I've coached to extraordinary success. Now, you, like me, will probably identify a couple of these 9 characteristics and make the decision to improve your strength around this particular characteristic. So the first is, and remember the definition of the word success, right? It's getting what you want. So they know what they want. They've obtained this profound sense of clarity around what they want. Now, sadly, I see a lot of people, they take an average approach to identifying what they want, and even worse, they take an average approach on how they're going to get it. Now, here's what I've learned as well, is that if you don't know exactly what you're going to do with the money once you've made it, you're never going to work hard enough to earn it. Yet when you know what you want in 3 categories, number 1 would be, your personal life, your personal and family accomplishments. Second would be material possessions. So what do you want to own? What do you want to buy? And the third would be financial achievements. And I would dare you to create a list of a minimum 100 things that you want. I'd do it right away. I don't care how big it is, how small it is, what category it's in, yet developing a list of a minimum 100 things you want, what it does, it opens up the filter of your mind to figure out how can you accomplish that. Now, knowing what you want, well, that's one thing. Yet the second characteristic is they know why they want it. If you've read the book by Simon Sinek, Start With Why, you understand why that's so critically important. There's a Mark Twain quote. He said, the 2 most important days of your life are the day that you're born and the day you find out why. So understanding your purpose, understanding your why becomes the fuel in the tank that gets you across the finish line first every time, to make that burn with white heat intensity. Third characteristic, they've developed their ability to determine exactly what their prospects want, not what their prospects need, what their prospects want. So guys, in marketing, we must give our prospects what they want versus what they need. Think about it. Somebody who's getting ready to list their house for sale, they need all kinds of things. They need a great realtor. They need a roofer to patch the roof. They need somebody to come in and either clean or replace the carpets. They need a landscaper. They need a home stager, right? They need all kinds of things. Yet in marketing, we cannot give them what they need. We must give them what they want. So enhancing your ability to determine exactly what the prospects want based on the avatar or your ideal client. What do they want? By the way, what are their problems? What are their concerns, their challenges, the things that wake them up at 2 o'clock in the morning? And this helps you identify your marketing message. So I think there's some base level wants that every seller has. I think there's some base level wants that every buyer has. And each one of you has been gifted the KV Core platform with an IDX website. You can do instant home valuation. See, if I'm a seller in the marketplace today and I don't have a realtor relationship, the first thing I'm going to do is Google, what's my home worth? And with KV Core, with your IDX site, you can provide instant valuations to these candidates, these prospects. I think every buyer wants to know what's on the market that matches my criteria. And again, they need all kinds of things, right? Can't give them what they need. You got to give them what they want. Give them direct access to your IDX website. Let them do live MLS searches. Now, gang, they're going to pay for the information that they receive, not with money, with their identity. They must complete a web form, first and last name, email address, property address, phone number. You see their search criteria. You see how often they're logging into your IDX website. You see what properties they viewed and how long did they view them. So identifying what they want and giving them what they want is a critical characteristic of the top performers. Then point number 4, they've applied leverage to the model. In essence, they've enhanced the models, systems, technology, and people to fulfill the prospect's needs quickly and effectively. Now, again, leverage comes in 4 categories. We're going to get into this a little bit later today. Yet a sneak peek is its models, then systems, technology, and people. These are the 4 points of leverage. Point number 5, they know that there's no such thing as failure. You know, my personal coach, his name is John Maxwell. He's a leadership guru. He's authored over 100 books. And he wrote a book called Sometimes You Win and Sometimes You Learn. Failure is not an option. In fact, the only failure in my mind is just to give up, to quit. We don't have any quitters on this call. I know that for a fact. So we fail forward. Only learning experiences. Point number 6, they're willing to stretch. So they set goals for beyond what they think is humanly possible or possible for them. See, the bigger you think, the bigger relationships, the bigger actions, and most importantly, the bigger habits you begin to form. Point number 7, they make a commitment. First, a commitment to themselves that, you know, come hell or high water, I'm going to achieve this. Let me speak to that just for a moment. Oftentimes when I'm setting goals around financial income with the client, they'll say, okay, I ask them, so how much money do you want to make in gross commission income this year? And let's say they say, I want to make $1 million. I say, okay, we're going to build a plan. I'm going to hold you accountable to the actions to achieve the plan. And we're going to do that. Yet let me quickly ask, how much did you make last year? And they say, well, I made 500,000. Okay, good for you. So we want to 2x what you did last year. Again, we're going to build that plan and we're going to accomplish that. Yet let me ask, if at the end of the year, it's December 31st, you add up your GCI, and rather than being $1 million, what if it's 900,000? How would you feel? Now, Leo, tell me, what do you think they usually say?
Yeah, I'll be okay with that.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, it's 400,000 that I made more than I made last year.
Yeah.
I'd feel like a rock star. Okay, so tell me, how would you feel if rather than 900,000, let's say it's 750,000? How would you feel? Still $250,000 more than I made last year. I'd feel pretty darn good. And what I do is I keep ratcheting it down to the point that they say, absolutely not, no way. I'd feel like I didn't give it my all if I achieved that much. Well, that tells me where their financial thermostat is set. And quite frankly, it's not set at $1 million, is it? No, it's usually set for around 550 to 600,000. So with that said, we must enhance and raise our financial thermostat in this process. Now, financial thermostat is just like the thermostat on your wall. If it's set at 72 degrees, gets too cold in the room, well, what happens? Of course, the heater kicks on and it brings it back up to 72. Now, if it gets too hot in the room, let's say it jumps up to 74, 75 degrees, of course, the air conditioner kicks on and brings it back down to 72. So I see when people aren't making enough money, they're willing to invest the time, the energy, the work ethic really kicks in until they get to that point of comfort. Then what do? They take their foot off the gas pedal. In fact, I've seen people self-sabotage if they're making too much money. So knowing exactly what you're going to do with the money once you've made it a critical element in you becoming a success. Point number 8, they're willing to do WIT, W-I-T. It's an acronym, stands for whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. They show up early, they stay late. They skip the football games on Saturday and Sunday and Monday night because they're so committed to the goal. Point number 9 of my 9 characteristics is they have a plan and they're coachable. And again, today you're going to finish this training with at least the methodology around my business planning strategy. And when applied, by the way, it worked for McDonald's, it worked for Panasonic, FedEx, Sport Clips, GMC, Pepsi, the highest producing agents and teams on the face of this planet. It works for me at Icon Coaching, and I promise it's going to work for you. Now, my 10th characteristics of the 9 characteristics of a high performer is they always go the extra mile. They give you a little bit more than maybe what you expected in every situation. And many of these things, they don't cost you any money. In fact, it helps you develop more business. For example, how many of you guys with your buyer candidate or clients are hosting a housewarming party for them a couple of months after they've moved in? Sending out all the invitations, setting up the Eventbrite page, letting people register to attend, getting their contact information of their friends and family members, adding that to your database, adding them to your 36 touch campaign. getting sponsors to help pay for the food and the beverage, and you show up a half hour early, you help them set up. Guys, there's never a time that I did this that I didn't walk out that door after 30 minutes of being there with at least 2 solid referrals. Always go the extra mile. We'd send the limousine over to their home or office to pick them up and bring them to closing. Cost me $50 plus tip to the driver. We wanted to make this a memorable experience. We wanted to increase the number of referrals that we got. We sent out their just moved cards to the people in their personal database. And of course, we took that contact information, added it to our database, added them to our 36 touch campaign. And, we got a lot of business as a direct result of simply going the extra mile. All right, so let's talk through what I call my model toward mastery. Now, at the base of this pyramid, by the way, if you want to draw this out, just draw a pyramid with me and then do 4 horizontal lines through the center of the pyramid, creating 5 sections to the pyramid. And that first or bottom section, write in the word foundation. Now, there's 4 categories to the strengthening of your foundation. Number 1, we want to strengthen your knowledge. You've got to know what to do. You got to know what to say. Strengthen your skills. You got to know how to do it. And of course, how to say it. Now, we focus on those first 2 categories of foundation. That has an immediate impact on your competence level, leads to a higher level of confidence, and it impacts your mindset almost magically. Now, I believe that mindset is 95% of your success in real estate. I think Henry Ford said it best, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You're always right. And fourth, and most importantly, it's your habits. Your habits will set the trajectory of your career, of your level of income, your bank account balance, and your net worth. So let's talk about habits for a moment. How many of you heard that it takes on average 21 days to form a habit? Anybody had that? Did somebody say that to them? Ever heard that before? I'll tell you, when I collaborated with Gary Keller and Jay Papasan in the writing of the book, The One Thing, which, by the way, hit #1 on New York Times bestseller list, I created all the training curriculum on the success of that book. And yet we found 0 evidence that it takes 21 days to form a habit. We did find a Napoleon Hill quote from so many years ago that referenced 21 days to own a habit, but there's no research behind it. What we did uncover is Megan Oaten's research out of the University College of London in Australia, and her research suggests that it takes on average 66 days to form a habit. So I've got this 66-day habit tracker. You can find it on the resources tab at iconcoaching.com. And it's going to be part of the workbook. Once I figure out how to get this workbook to you guys, it's part of the workbook. We're going to send it to you in PDF format. Now, every day that you complete the activity that you want to bring to the point of what I call automaticity or habit, you're going to put an X over one of those days. And then your only job is to maintain the chain. Now, the habit that I would encourage each and every one of you to own is 10 live conversations every day. And it seems so simple. Yet if you want more appointments, all you need to do is create more live conversations. By the way, if you want more contracts, listing contracts, buyer agency agreements, buy-sell agreements, well, you need more appointments. And if you need more appointments, you just need to create more conversations. And if you want more money, you need more contracts. If you want more contracts, you need more appointments. And if you want more appointments, you just need to create more conversations. So at the top of this document, you see the habit I choose to create is, I would encourage you just to write in 10 live conversations every day. And again, every day that you do that, just put an X over one of the boxes. Now, something magical happens to your energy, your motivation around habit formation when you've strung together, say, 10 or 12 X's in a row, not breaking the chain. That energy increases, your motivation increases, and you want to get to that 66th day where that activity moves to the point of automaticity. Now, I want you to imagine a graph with me, a vertical or an L-shaped graph. The vertical line represents the amount of discipline required for you to sustain an activity. And I don't care if it's diet and exercise or 10 live conversations a day. Yet the vertical line, again, it's the amount of discipline required to sustain the activity. The horizontal line would be the number of days. And once you start doing something new, something different, something that you've committed to doing, like 10 live conversations a day, the amount of discipline required is about as high as it's going to get. Now, over time, what happens is it kind of bows down. And at about 66 days, Megan Oten referenced it being 95% habit and 5% discipline to sustain the activity. Now, I want to digress and share with you one of my favorite stories because it's probably the biggest epiphany I've ever had in my career. And I was fortunate to get it when I was just 17 years old. Now, my wife and I are high school sweethearts. We're 17 years old at this time in our life. And we decided it's Friday night, we're going to go see a movie. And we invited her older sister and her sister's new boyfriend, as I'd never met this man before. Now, they're 4 years older than we were. And I agreed I would drive. So I pulled up the house to pick them up. And I got to tell you, this guy comes out of the house and this dude was built, man. He had muscles on muscles. I'm telling you, biceps like the size of my thighs. And, I'm 17 years old. I want to look like this guy. So I got to know him a little bit. His name's Paul. I said, hey, Paul, how often do you go to the gym? He said, well, every day. I said, every day, Paul? Even Sundays? He said, yep. I said, how long's your workout? And he said, well, at least 2 hours. I said, 2 hours every day? I said, Paul, I'm 17 years old, having a hard time getting to the gym 2-3 times a week, let alone every day for 2 hours. How do you do it? And he looked at me like I was a little bit crazy, like he was confused. And this was the epiphany. He said, Shon, it's just something I do. And I trust that you get the point. It's just something I do. See, this is who Paul is. This is what Paul does. And guess what? Paul gets to look the way Paul looks. I mean, he's a bodybuilder. He was, 10% body fat. He was just shredded. I wanted to look like that. See, what he had done is he took this activity, this action of going to the gym, applied discipline to the point of owning that activity as a habit. It's part of his personal paradigm, his self-image. And again, Paul gets to look the way that Paul looks. So how about you? How about each and every one of you? What if you made the commitment to bring this activity of 10 live conversations per day to the point of automaticity, where you show up to work and man, it's just something you do. And frankly, I don't care how you do it. It could be calling your sphere of influence, your friends and family members, past clients. It could be calling for sale by owners, expired listings, circle prospecting. Maybe it's B2B networking. Heck, I've got one client on the East Coast. Every morning he goes into Starbucks. The baristas all know him by now, yet he hands them a $20 bill and a $10 tip. So it costs him $30. And he tells the barista, deduct $1 off everybody's bill that comes through this line. Tell him I'm in real estate. It's from me. And I'm sitting over here in the corner, just if they have any questions. Now, at a minimum, the people come up and say, thank you for the $1 discount. That was really kind of you. And they always ask him a question. Once somebody learns you're in real estate, what is the number one question that they ask you? I'm curious. Somebody unmute yourself and tell me.
How's the market?
How's the market? Now, how do you respond? Do you give them your opinion? If so, stop doing that now. Stop doing that now. Because that person's going to part company with you and you'll wonder, do they need to buy a home, sell a house, or invest in real estate? Boy, I forgot to ask them. Don't share your opinion. In fact, when somebody says, how's the market? Here's what I want you to say. They say, how's the market? Well, that really depends. Are you asking because you're looking to buy a home, sell a house, or invest in real estate? Which is it? Now, quite frankly, they might say, I was just making pleasant conversation. I have no interest in real estate, and that's okay. At least now you know. Yet they might be looking to buy. They might be looking to invest. And by the way, a lot of people that would invest in real estate if they knew how easy it actually was. Now, at the bottom of this document, I provided some affirmations just to shift your mindset, create new neural pathways to help you believe in yourself. And after you do this for 66 days in a row, guys, it just becomes something you just do. And that's what I want to see happen. So after we get through foundation, knowledge, skills, mindset, habits, then it's really about pipeline. And it's in addition to foundation, okay? It's not an either or. You're constantly in foundation daily. And Leo, thank you for bringing this training to everybody because we want to strengthen your foundation every single day. I love what Lincoln said so many years ago. He said, I don't think much of a person who isn't a better person today than they were yesterday. So from pipeline, those with tenacity, those with a solid work ethic, undoubtedly are going to reach the next phase of this model, which is momentum. Now, guys, momentum is a fun place to be. It's also kind of a scary place to be, quite honestly, because most agents that get to this level of momentum, what happens to the pipeline phase of their business? I mean, imagine you get 7 or 8 pending contracts today. Now you're dealing with home inspections, title issues, with mortgage issues, appraisal issues. And what happens? They get sucked down in the weeds of the busyness of our business. And so they reach this level of momentum, they get sucked down in the weeds. What happens to the pipeline phase when they're dealing with all these transactional issues, acting like the firefighter, putting out this fire, putting out that fire? Don't they generally back burner the pipeline effort? See, the pipeline effort is everything you're doing proactively and reactively to identify and then earn the business of the prospects in the marketplace today. And when you get busy with the busyness, you stop doing it. So you work hard to get to momentum just to have the next month, after all those deals close, you're back down to 0 and you get back into the pipeline phase, right? So January is terrible. You work hard. You get some deals pended in January. Then throughout February, you're sucked down in the weeds, focused on what I call the 80% work versus the 20% work. That's Pareto's principle, obviously the 80-20 rule. 20% of your actions will yield at least 80% of your results. Yet most agents, they get sucked down into the 80% stuff. It's all the things that need to be done. I'll give you that. Yet they don't move the needle for your production. So January's terrible, right? They work hard, they penned a few deals. Then in February, they're sucked down in the weeds. So January's terrible, yet February's pretty darn good because they're in momentum. And then in March, they fall backward down into pipeline. They work hard. April's pretty darn good. May, they're saying, how do I file for unemployment again, right? But then June is pretty good and they love real estate again. So once we get you to momentum, and here at Icon Coaching, we can definitely do that. Then it's about the application of leverage to get you to momentum and keep you in momentum. As I said it earlier, there are 4 categories of leverage. It's models. What I'm talking about is your economic model, your budget model, your lead generation and lead conversion models, and your compensation models if you choose to leverage through people. Then there's systems. Now, a system to me is nothing more, it's nothing less than a standardized process that produces a consistent and predictable result. You do it the same way every single time, modified only for the dominant behavior characteristics of your prospect or client, and you get that consistent result in your business. For example, is your listing presentation, is it a system? Or do you show up to a listing presentation saying, gee, I wonder what's going to come out of my mouth today, and I hope it's really good. See, I systemized my listing presentation. My last year in production, in 2011, I went on 162 listing appointments, and I signed 160 listings because I followed a system. We did it the same way each and every time for that consistent, predictable result. Same thing with the buyer presentation. From first appointment with buyer to signed buyer agency contract, guys, it was a 100% conversion. Granted, there were times I had to write under special provisions. Buyer may terminate this contract with written notice to agent at any time, but they'd still sign the buyer agency agreement every single time because we systemized it. Then it's leveraged through technology. I got a couple of ideas here for you. For example, Sly Broadcast. Some of you are familiar with Sly Broadcast and use it. I encourage you to use it. It is the least expensive way that I've found that you can communicate with thousands of people almost instantaneously. So Sly Broadcast is ringless voicemail. And for 3.5 cents per voicemail, for example, you could leave 1,000 voicemails. Their phone doesn't even ring. It just says missed call from your number, and they have a new voicemail. You could leave 1,000 voicemails for $35. It's very inexpensive. So you or one of your colleagues take a listing in this particular neighborhood, you get access to the data, whether it's through your title company, maybe it's Espresso Agent, Vulcan 7, maybe it's Arch Telecom or Land Voice. There's 1,000 companies that can give you that data. What you're after is, first and last name, property address, and phone number, and make sure they're scrubbed on the DNC. If they're part of the DNC, just eradicate them from your list, upload the others into Sly Broadcast. Name that group, whatever that subdivision name is, record your voice one time. For example, hey, it's Shon Kakosa with eXp Realty. I'm so sorry that I missed you. The reason I'm reaching out is we just listed a property right around the corner from you at 123 Main Street. It's got 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and a 3-car garage. It's currently on the market for $1.4 million. I'm curious, who do you know that you'd like to become one of your neighbors before I just pick them for you? If you know somebody who's interested in our neighborhood, please pick up the phone, give me a call. And here's my number. And again, within 15 minutes, you could leave 1,000 voicemails just like that. Or, hey, we just sold the home right around the corner from you at 123 Main Street. And due to the extensive marketing plan that we introduced to get this property sold so quickly for top dollar, we've got many other buyers that would love to own a home in our neighborhood. Are you thinking about selling your house? If so, pick up the phone, call me, give them your number. Again, 1,000 voicemails, $35. High rate of return, very little money invested. Next is leverage through people. Now, people, we're going to get into this a little bit later. I want to teach you how you can leverage for free through people to increase your level of production. And then finally, you reach this level of mastery. I'll tell you, many people approach Icon Coaching. Maybe they're new and they're going to jump into our program called Accelerated Breakthrough, which gives you a rock solid foundation that you can build upon. Or maybe they've reached this natural ceiling of achievement. Now, to me, that natural ceiling achievement occurs somewhere around 30 transactions per year, where you can't work with another buyer, you can't take another listing because you can't create another 2 hours in the day. And the only thing that's going to bring you beyond that natural ceiling of achievement is leverage. We can take you from 20 or 30 transactions per year to 200 to 300 transactions per year inside of 18 months. So it's the application of the right knowledge, the right skills, impacts your mindset, and of course, having the right habits. So with this model, I've got a couple of pointed questions for you. Number one, which phases are you in? Be honest with yourself. Which phases are you in? And what will you do this week to get even just a baby step closer to the next phase of the model? Those of you that are in foundation and pipeline, to get a baby step closer to momentum, all you need to do is create 10 live conversations per day. That's it. And again, I don't care how you do it. It can be face-to-face or over the telephone. Now, I would not count a direct message on a social channel until a live conversation occurs. I would not count an email that they replied to until a live conversation occurs. And I wouldn't include a text. Even if they reply, I would not count that as a conversation until a conversation occurs. 10 live conversations a day. Now, you're still going to do direct messages. You're still going to send emails and text messages. Just don't count it as a live conversation until you actually get them on the phone or face-to-face with you. 10 conversations a day, it's going to change your world. All right, next. How many of you believe in the statement that the greatest denominator that's holding me back? Well, it's me. How many of you believe in that? See, sometimes we have to get out of our own way and let our lives be big. It's a decision. It's a simple decision. Now, I want to just demonstrate this to you real quick. In fact, I want you to write down just very fast, how much money in gross commission income would you like to generate over the course of the next, say, 12 months? Or let's just say in 2025, in total, how much in GCI do you want to earn? Just write it down. Go ahead, get your pen and paper. Write down how much you choose to earn in 2025. What do you want? Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to cross that number out, and I want you to multiply it by 2 and write down your new number. Now, let me ask, what just happened inside your mind? What was that internal dialogue? What did it say to you? Did it say, no flipping way, that's not going to happen? You can't do that. Let me ask, are there people out there that are doing that number in gross commission income in the same amount of minutes and hours that you have per day? Well, of course there are. So if they can do it, you can do it. Yet we all have this internal dialogue. Now, I've nicknamed my internal dialogue. I call it MIC. It's an acronym. It's MIC. It stands for My Inner Cynic. And we all have one. It's that voice inside your head that says, don't call that prospect again today. You just left them a voicemail message yesterday and they did not return your call. They're ghosting you. Just go on to the next. And you failed to make that call because you listened to Mick And then you follow up a week later to find out they just went under contract on a different property with a different realtor because you failed to follow up, right? It's also the voice that said, don't write down that new number. You'll never accomplish that. So tune into what Mick is saying to you and replace those negative thoughts with empowering thoughts. Now, there's an icon maxim that I want to bring to light. Now, maxims are simple statements that almost magically shift your mindset. Just like Leo with the affirmations that he did with each and every one of you this morning, it almost magically impacts your mindset. And one that comes to mind here is dream believer or dream buyer, you choose. Now, let me tell you what I mean by this. Dream believers, they're always in abundance. Yet dream buyers are rare. See, every dream that you have, it comes with a price tag. Now, are you willing to pay the price to obtain the dream? See, individuals who have achieved the pinnacle, they reach the top of the mountain. They never say, boy, that was easier getting here than I thought it would be. It's hard work to get there. Every dream we have comes with a price tag. Yet many of us have uphill dreams with downhill habits. So bringing conscious awareness to the activities that are worth building habits around, and then applying selected discipline to the point that you own that action as a habit is a basic fundamental of just extraordinary success in your career. All right, so I want to take you through this, what I call the ultimate success formula. It starts with a long-term vision, and then we reverse engineer it. We create an annual business plan around the long-term vision. Then we break that down into a monthly and weekly business plan. And then finally, it's about time blocking. It's just 4 simple steps. And I'm going to outline each step to you right now. So long-term strategy. Let's talk about this. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. So it starts with identifying, well, here's where I'm at today, and here's where I want to be someday. Now, when I'm teaching this live in a seminar format, I tell everybody, don't hit the person next to you, but take your left arm extended all the way to the left, and your left hand represents, well, here's where I'm at right now. Now, let's get real and right about that with no judgment whatsoever. Guys, I don't care if you're at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. If you have 0 active listings, 0 buyers, and a negative bank account balance, just get real and right about it. Again, with no judgment. Because wherever you're at today, it has no bearing on where you're going to be 90 days down the road in real estate sales with aggressive and appropriate action. Then I tell them, take your right arm, extend it all the way to the right, and your right hand represents, here's where I want to be someday. Now, what is the shortest distance between any 2 points? Talk to me, guys. It's a straight line. Yet do people live their life in a straight line? No or no? They just don't. So what they ultimately do is they make the next decision. The next, and they tend to bounce around the middle, oftentimes running out of time, energy, money. They're forced to give up instead of go up. So rather, it starts with understanding, here's where I'm at today, here's where I want to be someday, and reverse engineering it. So someday, in excess of 5 years, let's say in 10 years, I want all of these things, right? I'm going to identify the benchmarks of success. I want to be closing 200 transactions a year. I want 15 agents on my team. I want to be making this much in gross commission income. I want to own 100 rental properties. I want to build my revenue share at EXP to this number. I want this much in revenue share coming in every single month. So what is that long-term vision? And then we'll reverse engineer it. So based on that someday vision, where must you be in the next 5 years to be on track to accomplish the someday vision? For example, if I want to own 100 rental properties in 10 years, mathematically, it would make sense that in 5 years, I would own at least 50. You guys with me on this? Based on the 5-year benchmarks, where must I be in 3 years to be on track to accomplish the 5-year and the someday vision? Based on the 3-year benchmarks, where do I need to be in the next 12 months? Now, this is what we're going to build your annual business plan around. That when you accomplish those things, you're automatically on track to accomplish the 3-year vision, the 5-year vision, and the someday vision. Based on the 12 months, where do you need to be in 6 months to be on track to hit the 12-month, the 3-year, the 5-year, and someday vision? How about this month, this week, today, or even right now? What is that straight line step to the accomplishment of your someday vision? See, reverse engineering it makes it a lot easier. Like at Keller Williams, we'd coach team leaders to what we called the 2-10-40, which means that they were to have 480 recruiting appointments a year. Now, if we approached them and said, listen, you're going to have 480 recruiting appointments a year, they would have freaked out and quit immediately. I'm not signing up for that. Yet we broke it down to the simplistic. It's the 2-10-40. So it's just 2 recruiting appointments a day. That would be 10 a week and 40 a month, which would lead them to 480 recruiting appointments a year. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Let's break it down to the simplistic. So that's step number 1 of this 4-step formula. Once we get to the 12-month, then we're going to create an annual business plan. See, this is all part of your vision. Now, if you don't create and stay true to your own vision, you'll become part of somebody else's. So I say invest the strategic thought time to really understand what you want that to look like long-term, reverse engineer it to the now. Then it's about that annual business plan. Now, this is what I call the ETA. Now, traditionally, ETA stands for expected time of arrival. In my methodology, it stands for expectation, targets, and actions, yet it will also give you turn-by-turn directions, get you where you want to be, when you want to be there. Now, expectation to me is merely a better word for the word goal. See, I think the word goal is overused, especially in our industry. And since words create energy and emotion, when I set a goal, it feels kind of heavy. It almost opens the door of doubt in my mind that I might not accomplish that. I mean, after all, it's a goal, right? I prefer to set expectations. Because words create energy and emotion, then I just simply expect it to happen. The actions follow and the results follow. Now, targets, by my definition, are interim expectations that are measurable, yet they're not grounded in a singular activity. So then we outline actions under each target, okay? And these are specific measurable actions. This will help you with clarity. Now, this is a 1-page annual business plan. I'll show you what it looks like in a moment, yet the goal is clarity in action. See, in absence of clarity, there's complexity. And complexity is the enemy of clarity. And if you have mist in your mind, it becomes the fog within your production. Clarity is power, and that's the goal. So this is a 1-page business plan. You start with the expectation at the top of the document. For example, let's say I want to close 10 transactions in 2025. And forgive the typo there, that says 2020. I apologize. Expectation for 2025, I want to close 10 transactions. I'm going to do the math. My average sales price is this, so that should equal this much in total sales volume. My average commission per transaction is this percentage. That would yield X number of dollars in gross commission income. So that becomes my expectation. Any questions so far? Are you tracking with me okay? Now let's just say that I want to be a little bit listing heavy because listings are leverage. Target number 1 would be to close 6 listings. Target 2, close 4 buyers. And target 3 is the application of leverage. So models, systems, technology, and people. So under target number 1, which would be to close 6 listings, then I'm going to outline 3 to 5 actions that I or somebody else can do on my behalf that would yield at least 6 closed listings. Like, for example, action number 1 is to contact everybody in my sphere of influence by phone at least 4 times per year. You see in the right margin, it says by who? Who's going to do that? Well, that's going to be me because I want a personal touch. By when? And I just put in 4 times per year. Now, a lot of agents think that's a really good idea. And yet they get to March 31st. It's the last day of quarter 1. And they're like, oh shit, I got to call 250 people right now today, and it doesn't happen. So rather, if you just took 2 letters of the alphabet, if your last name begins with A or B, I'm going to call you this week. C or D, I'm going to call you next week. If your last name begins with E or F, I'll call you the next week, right? Because there's 26 letters in the alphabet, 52 weeks in the year. Guys, if you follow that simple system, you'll have reached out to everybody by phone in your sphere of influence 4 times per year. It's really that simple. Action number 2, maybe I want to call 3 expireds per day. Action number 3, I'm going to call 3 for sale by owners per day. Action number 4, I'm going to do a quarterly customer appreciation event. Now, I've built thousands of ETAs with people and for people, and not one has looked exactly like the other. There's 1,000 things that you could do, yet based on your dominant behavior, the things you enjoy doing, the real question is, well, what should you do? 3 to 5 actions under target 1. Target 2, I want to close 4 buyers. So I'm going to do 1 open house a weekend. Who's going to do it? Well, that's me. By when? Weekly. You guys tracking with me? Okay. What are some other actions you could take to close 4 buyers? Could you join maybe a BNI group, a networking group? Could you reach out to your favorite lenders once a month saying, who do you know that's looking to buy a house that I could help today? Of course you could. Target 3 is the application of leverage. So what models, what systems, what technology, and who are the people that are missing from your organization? Outline 3 to 5 actions. Who's going to install it? By when must it be accomplished? You end up with a 1-page simple business plan, something you can review in 5 minutes and know exactly what you need to do once you're done outlining it. If you're, by the way, if your business plan is more than 1 page, your focus is far too diluted. So again, we're going to send you the workbook. You're going to see this format. I just encourage you to invest the time to complete your ETA. Expectation, what do you want to accomplish? What are your target positions? And then what are the actions required for you or somebody else to take to accomplish the targets? So when you do the actions, the targets get accomplished. When you accomplish the targets, the expectation is accomplished. Those of you who want to build revenue share at EXP, you'll actually have 5 target positions. I call this the 5 R's. The first R is recruiting. That's always going to be paramount. Second target is retention, and what are the actions you're going to take to retain the agents? Target 3 is about revenue or per agent production. And what are the actions you could take to increase the production per agent within your RevShare organization? Target 4 is reproduction. So how can you educate people, improving their knowledge and skills such that they take the EXP model to other agents and your group grows exponentially? And the 5th R is retirement. And what are the actions you want to take once you've made enough money through revenue share to where you can actually retire? So we outline that in our Attraction in Action course. By the way, it's 4 sessions, 90-minute sessions. It's just a powerful course that you can take if you choose to increase your revenue through revenue share. Now, by the way, once you've completed your ETA, you've not only completed a 1-page simple business plan, you've also outlined what your future organizational chart would look like if you want to build a team, if you want to apply leverage through people. For example, a hierarchy org chart, that top circle generally says something like CEO, founder, chairman of the board, or president, right? Rather, let's take the E, or the expectation from the ETA. That's you on your hierarchy org chart. Now your 3 target positions become your direct reports, right? So target 1 would be a lead listing agent. Target 2 would be a lead buyer agent. Target 3 would be your chief of operations. Now, the best part about their job is that it's their job, so they'll go out and hire the right talent to really build out their respective divisions. And that talent is going to complete the actions at a very high level so that the expectation increases and the targets get accomplished. Okay, so the 3rd step, and by the way, let's go ahead and take a pause here real quick. Leo, let's let anybody and everybody ask questions as we analyze this process.
Let's do it. All right, guys. I think you guys have the opportunity to unmute yourselves. So go ahead and ask your questions or post it in the chat as well. I've been taking notes and notes and notes and notes of pages of notes here. Really good stuff. All right, guys, don't be shy. Unmute yourselves or put it in the chat. Questions so far or comments?
And I'm looking through the chat here as well. Some great comments here, you guys. I love it. And if there's no direct questions, we'll go to the next or 3rd step of the methodology of the 4 steps. Now, the 4th step is to break your annual expectation, targets, and actions down into a monthly and then weekly business plan. I call this the format, I call this the ATA. Stands for Accountability for Targets and Actions. So based on your annual business plan, what needs to be done, say in the month of December, we're getting ready to enter the month of December. So at the top of the form, you just kind of restate your expectations. This many transactions, this much in GCI, now this much in sales volume. And based on that, based on your annual business plan, For the month of December, what are the tasks that need to be accomplished? For example, one of the tasks is, since I want to reach out to everybody in my sphere of influence 4 times per year, and if I contact just 2 letters of the alphabet per week, then I'll reach out to them 4 times per year. So a task under the monthly section would be to contact 8 letters of the alphabet for people in my SOI. Then under week number 1, I would say contact my A's and B's. Week number 2, my C's and D's. Week number 3, E's and F's. So on the workbook that I send to you, this is a front and back page document. So 1-page document outlines your monthly tasks. You break it down into more granular sized actions for the week by week actions. So the point here is just clarity and action. When you know what to do, when you know why you want to do it, guys, nothing's going to stop you. Now, the 4th and final step is to time block the tasks, because if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. We get that. Yet there's 3 reasons that people become realtors in the first place. Number 1 reason is freedom. Man, I want to do what I want when I want. Flexibility. Oh yeah, you want to go golfing on Friday afternoon? Absolutely. I can clear my schedule. They can be flexible. Then, of course, financial wealth, because every realtor you know is just loaded. Am I right? Yeah, of course they are. Now, here's the challenge. They choose freedom and flexibility first. Therefore, they never get around to financial wealth. Here's my input. Choose discipline first. Yet it's not discipline in all things. It's discipline in just a handful of things that will help you double your production in 2025. Now, these words probably don't sound like they belong in the same sentence, kind of like an oxymoron, right? Yet discipline creates freedom, flexibility, and financial wealth. Now, it's not discipline in all things, just a handful of things. I referenced Pareto's principle a little bit earlier. 20% tasks, these are dollar productive activities. 80% tasks, yes, these are things that need to be done, but they don't move the needle for your production. So it's those of you who figure out how to give an inordinate amount of your time to the 20% tasks, you're going to make more money than the average realtor, that's for sure. So just 5 things. Number 1, practice. You got to know what to say. You got to know how to say it. And I don't care if you're a 33-year veteran like me in this industry. Let's agree, practice isn't something you did. It's something you do on a daily basis to sharpen your skills. Second is lead generation. It's not just about knowing what to say and how to say it. It's how many people you say it to. So proactive lead generation. Number 3 is lead follow-up and conversion. That's going to lead to the next 2 points on the 20% task list. That's going on appointments and negotiating contracts. So guys, again, these are the only 5 things that actually increase your level of production and income. Now, to me, the first 3 tasks are AM activities. Do it first thing in the morning from 8:30 to 12 o'clock. Focus only on these 3 things. That leads to the afternoon tasks, which is going on appointments, negotiating contracts. It's a natural byproduct of doing those 3 things consistently. Now, if you look at it, Stephen R. Covey's time management quadrants, he wrote the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. At the top, you have important. At the bottom, not important. On the left, you have urgent. On the right, you have not urgent. And where they intersect creates the 4 quadrants. Important and urgent is the upper left-hand quadrant. The only thing that belongs in that category are those 5 things. Oh no, Shon, somebody just tagged me on Facebook or mentioned me on a Facebook post. That's urgent and important. Is it? Of course not. Shon, I just got an email. I need to read it. Is it urgent? And of course it's not urgent and important. Important and not urgent. Not important and urgent. See, that's your email inbox. See, guys, the moment you open your email inbox, you've now made a conscious decision to begin managing everybody else's priorities instead of your own. So with all the things you could be doing, the only things that are urgent and important, again, those 5 things. Knock it out first thing in the morning, then at 12 o'clock, I don't care what you do. Go home, sit on the couch, binge watch your favorite show on Netflix. The simple truth is you won't have time to do that because the afternoon's going to be filled with appointments and contracts to negotiate. Now, anytime you think of doing something, and I mean anything, ask yourself first, can I ditch it? Does that even need to be done at all? If it does need to be done, ask yourself, can I delegate it? Who can do that for me? then ask yourself, can I do it later? Now, this only works if you've got a time block set aside for that particular task later in the day. Otherwise, it just simply turns into procrastination. And Leo, to be clear, I have until what, 11:30 your time, is that right?
Correct. Yeah, 15.
Perfect.
15 minutes. Yep.
Just
around
making
time.
sure.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So do it later. And the last resort here, you guys, is do it now. This is the final option. Now, most agents, they want to do everything right now. They end up with 15 projects, all working simultaneously. They're not accomplishing a darn thing because their focus is far too diluted. And they've mistaken movement for achievement. In fact, guys, write that down. Don't mistake movement for achievement. Now, when I learned about this, I was 22 years old. I was a buyer agent on a team. By the way, I was licensed when I was 20. After my first 12 months in the industry, I figured out the models, the systems, technology, people, the scripts, dialogues, objection handlers. I was closing over 100 buyer-side transactions as a 22-year-old kid as a buyer agent on a team with one unlicensed assistant, right? And several $100,000 commission months in a row, which is not necessarily a good thing for a 22-year-old kid. Yet I learned a lot of lessons through that process. Yet I learned about this 4D approach. I looked at my schedule. I was looking for my time bandits. And what I found is that, I was attending all of my home inspections personally. I thought it was a great personal touch, a great way to gain more referral business, which definitely worked. Yet the bottom line is it was not the highest and best use of my time. See, to become the success that you choose to become, sometimes you have to give up a few things in order to go up. I hope that makes sense. And I had to give that up. And it took some education with my broker and the listing agents, yet I was able to replace the time that I was otherwise going on home inspections. Let me tell you why that was important. Over 100 buyer side transactions per year, let's narrow it down to, or round it down to 100. The average home inspection, including drive time, takes about 3 hours, you might agree. Now let's do the math. 100 home inspections times 3 hours, that's 300 hours. Divide that by a typical 40-hour work week. Guys, it was 7.5 weeks of my life that I was spending at home inspections. And here's the simple truth is that if the furnace is broken, the furnace is broken. I'm not going to strap on a tool bag and fix the darn thing. I don't know how to fix it, and I don't want to know how to fix it. So my job was to represent the buyer, negotiate the inspection resolution, which I was also able to delegate to my now licensed transaction coordinator. Now, also to delegate it, I looked at my time schedule or my time block schedule, where I was investing my time, and I learned that 3 to 4 hours a day was invested in following up with C-type prospects. They weren't going anywhere for probably 6 months, yet I would invest that time day after day after day. Because, guys, I could not stand the gut-wrenching feeling of following up with a buyer maybe a week too late to find out that they just went under contract on a different property with a different realtor, right? So I'd invest that time day after day after day. Now, I got to the delegate it. I reached out to my favorite lender. His name was Steve. I said, hey, Steve, I want to give you the opportunity to earn the business of every one of my buyer prospects. Yet, quite frankly, Steve, you're going to have to earn that right, buddy. Is that okay with you? He said, well, of course, Shon. What do you need me to do? I said, first off, Steve, you need to follow up with them until they buy or die. Can you do that for me? He said, well, absolutely. That's my job. I said, second, will you use my scripts? He said, well, sure. Tell me, what are the scripts? Well, the first one went like this. Hey, this is Steve with XYZ Mortgage Company, and Shon Kakosa asked me to give you a call. And before I begin, I just want to take a moment. I want to commend you on your selection of a realtor. You know what? Shon is by far the best realtor I've ever come across. And I've been doing this for 32 years. How did you get in touch with Shon? See, he edified me. If I said it, it's ego-based. He says it, it's a third-party endorsement. And then third, he had to agree to meet with me on a weekly basis. So we just had a standing meeting. He'd come into the office, we'd sit in the conference room, and we'd review the pipeline. What was the last point of communication? What's the planned next point of communication? And any follow-up notes. Now, there was nothing more satisfying than not investing any of my time personally in following up with a C-type prospect to have my lender call me and say, hey, remember the Jones family? We talk about them every week. You referred them to me 6 months and 1 week ago. Well, they're ready to buy right now, Shon. You need to give them a call today. I didn't invest any time following up with them, yet I still earned the business. And the fortune is in the follow-up. It can also be delegated. All right. So take the 4D approach, because it's not about the hours you put into your workday. It's about what you put into your hours, right? Also, I mentioned it earlier, if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist, right? So schedule out the most important tasks of the day. Also recognize all work expands to fill the time allowed. Give yourself 45 minutes to go through your email inbox. It'll take you 45 minutes. Give yourself 15 minutes to do the same, and you'll get it done. So I'll ask that each one of you completes what I call the perfect week schedule, recognizing nothing in life is perfect, yet at least you could approach your day with intentionality. So green would be for dollar productive activities. This is your 20% work. Yellow are for things that you're currently doing that you would love to delegate in the future. Blue is for things only you can do that are not dollar productive. And then, pink or plum or some other color like that would be for your personal time, friends and family. Now, in the workbook that we're going to send out to each and every one of you, it will outline this perfect week schedule example. Plus, it'll give you a blank perfect week schedule so you can complete your own and work that perfect week schedule. Now, a lot of people, they compare their insides to other people's outsides. They approach success like this. Well, if I have what so-and-so has, then I could do what that person does, and then I could be the person I want to be. And guys, that is completely and totally backward. Other people say, well, if I do the work, then I could have the income and the bank account balance, then I could be the person I want to be. And that, again, is totally backward. See, it's not about have, do, be. It's not about do, have, be. It's about be, do, have. That's exactly right, Leo. I love it, man. Being the person that you get to be day in and day out. And when you're being that person, when you're thinking like that person thinks, well, you're going to do what that person should do. And then you'll have whatever it is you'd like in your life. So who do you desire to be? See, a lot of people say, well, Shon, if I just had more money, then I could be the person I want to be. Or if I had better relationships, better health, or a bigger business, well, I could be the person I want to be. Yet there's one thing at the core of all four of these ovals, right? What is that one thing? And of course, you know the answer. It's you. For you to have more money, for you to have better relationships, better health, or a bigger business, well, you get to be better. Now, you'll improve your strength of your foundation. See, your foundation, the knowledge, skills, mindset, and habits, that's what makes up your state of being. See, you will grow to the extent, your business will grow to the extent that you grow. So again, the ultimate success formula, start with your long-term vision, reverse engineer it. Break that down to an annual business plan. We call it the ETA, expectation, targets, and actions. Break it down into monthly tasks, as well as weekly actions through the ATA for accountability for targets and actions. And then finally, time block the task, because if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. So again, there's three things that you can control. You can control what you say. You can control how you say it. And believe it or not, you can control how many people you say it to. You want more appointments? Create more conversations. So we developed this program called Accelerated Breakthrough. Guys, this is 16 weeks of coaching and training. A lot of people said, Shon, charge $3,000 for it. Some of the consultants I went through, I said, yeah, that sounds good, but I don't want to do that. They said, well, at least charge $2,000. No, I'm not going to do that. At least $1,000. Nah. So what we have done is we trimmed out all the fat, guys. We made this a virtual program. It's a group format that anybody can afford. $347 for 16 weeks of coaching and training. And we have a Black Friday sale. And that brings it down to $297, guys, for 4 months of coaching and training, improving your knowledge, your skills, your mindset, your habits through this process. So what I want you to do is I want you to take out your cell phone real quick. Let's do that real quick. Oh, by the way, we also offer a payment plan, $99 a month for 4 months. Here's all the things we discussed. These are the key talking points for month number 1. You can see them there. Month number 2, you can see all our key talking points. By the way, in session 7, you get my 20-point buyer presentation. First appointment to sign buyer agency contract should be 100%, and I'm not kidding. We get into higher level topics, business planning topics. You get my listing presentation, all digital assets associated with that. You get all of these things as well. And again, the program just kicked off last week, November 21st. Session 1 is recorded, yet we're extending the opportunity with our Black Friday sale. Once you sign up, we give you the replay link for session number 1. You follow along, fill in the blanks of your workbook. Every week you get a workbook, by the way. And every week we give you assignments that are strategically designed to help you at least double your production in 2025. Now, step number 2 is on December 5th. Each session is at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and it will be every single Thursday, okay? So you can just time block the time, put it in your schedule, and we'll pick up at session 2. You can watch session 1, be up to speed with everybody in session 2, and we'll go the next 15 weeks to help you double your production in 2025. So take out your cell phone. I want you to scan this QR code. Just do it real quick. Even if you have no intention of signing up, just scan it. You'll be able to take a look at the funnel process and how marketing can work. In fact, duplicate what I'm doing for your real estate sales practice, because this is tried and true. It's a formula that works. Grab your cell phone, scan that QR code. Now, many of you are probably engaged in one-on-one coaching currently. Now, we've come up with a new program. You see that brand new circle down at the bottom, results-driven coaching, where you don't pay for coaching unless you produce. See, the traditional model of coaching is that you pay a flat fee, whether you produce or not, and you have to guarantee that payment to your coach month after month after month. Where with the results-driven coaching, you don't pay anything unless you produce. It's a capped model, just like EXP, where you cap it, $16,000 at EXP, you cap at $12,000 per year with Icon Coaching for one-on-one weekly coaching. And it's all based on your level of income. If you don't produce, you don't pay. And if you don't cap, you don't owe us any money. You might pay $6,000 for coaching all year, and that's what you pay. But if you're a capper, and we'll get you to be a capper, there's no doubt about that. See, we're then vested in your success. We don't get paid unless you get paid. So I'd encourage you to check that out. And there's options once you scan that QR code for all 4 of the programs and products that we offer at Icon Coaching. So Leo and everybody, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for the opportunity, and really look forward to helping you guys get to that next level of success. By the way, I've got a few extra minutes. If we have any questions, concerns, challenges, I'd be happy to address anything on your minds, guys. Go ahead.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Shon. Hey, let's give a huge shout out to Shon, and make sure you guys also give him a follow on social media, but drop it into the chat if you got a bunch of value. I know I did. I took pages and pages and pages of notes. And Shon and I spoke about, doing something like this before the call. And I think this is an absolute no-brainer for you guys. $297 for 4 months of coaching to really get all of this stuff integrated into your business. It's a definitely no-brainer, but yeah, want to open it up for questions. We've got about 2 more minutes. Anybody else have a question? I think Kathy had posted a question about, I think, what you say, and I don't even remember exactly what context that was, but I think she had asked earlier about what you say when you call them. I think it was for your referrals, but
yeah, well, it depends on, let's bring context to that. And if you can unmute yourself, let's have a quick conversation.
Yeah, Miss Kathy, I don't know if you're still on.
I am still here.
Miss Kathy. Yes,
all right, let's go deeper, Kathy. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I tend to call my clients and we're talking about everything, and it tends to be 15, 20 minutes. I'm on the phone. So I just wanted something quick so that I can, hit the good point and have some kind of meaning to it and move on to the next one.
Kathy, I love it. Love it. Love it. Now, you can get away with this particular strategy that I want to share with you once, maybe twice per year. Okay. You can't do it every single week. You can't do it the 4 touches every single year. Okay. Yet what I would encourage you to do, and this is part of the Accelerated Breakthrough Program, by the way, is you contact the people in your sphere of influence. Maybe it's a past client, maybe it's your cousin, maybe it's your brother or sister, right? And you say, hey, Kathy, it's Shon Kakosa with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for taking my call. Say, do you have just 2 minutes to help me real quick with a little problem? Now, don't we always love to help people with a problem? And aren't you honored that they reached out to you because they think you can help them? So they always say yes, or they might say, hey, call me back in 15 minutes. I'm tied up, or call me back tonight, whatever they say, that's okay. So do you have 2 minutes, just real quick, help me with the problem? And they say yes. Say, well, I've just engaged in a great class. It's called Accelerated Breakthrough, and it's designed to help us accelerate our breakthrough. And the teacher asked, we've created a friendly and fun competition In fact, I need to get at least 10 referrals in the next 30 days in order to win. And I'm curious, who do you know right now that's looking to buy a home, sell a house, or invest in real estate that I should call today? Well, I can't think of anyone. Well, Kathy, this competition goes on for the next 30 days. So in your conversations with friends and family members, if you hear of somebody who's looking to buy a home, sell a house, or invest in real estate, can you do me the biggest favor of all? Pick up the phone, give me a call, or drop me a text and say you've got one for me. Would you do that?
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. We taught this in the BOLD program for Keller Williams. In fact, we did this in a live seminar format. We gave them the script. It was fully transcribed. They practiced it with their neighbor for about 3 minutes, and then they were instructed to take out their cell phone and just the contact records in their cell phone to call as many people as they could in 30 minutes using that script. Now, we had a whiteboard at the front of the room, and if they got a referral or set an appointment, they were encouraged to go up to the front of the room, write their name, put a little dash next to their name. I will tell you, with over 700,000 graduates to that program, the average participant gained 3 referrals in 30 minutes of dialing using that very simple script. So again, you can't do that every time you talk to them. You can get away with it, though, about once per year, sometimes twice per year. Another way would be to invite them to a customer appreciation event, or even just call them and say, hey, listen, I was driving through your neighborhood the other day. Man, can you believe what home values have done over the last 4 years? Just start the conversation. Or if you're concerned about that 20-minute conversation bogging you down, I would be as well. I would always start the conversation by saying, hey, it's Shon Kakosa with eXp Realty. Say, today's call's about business. Do you have just 2 minutes to help me out? So you're setting an expectation that this is not a 25-minute conversation where we're talking about your dog and your daughter who just went to college and all this other stuff. We're talking about business.
Okay.
I hope that helps, Kathy.
Love that.
Other
Thank you, Shon.
questions, concerns, challenges?
And if you have one, Will Higgins just has a question. If you have,
Hey, Will.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
What's going on, man? Love seeing you here, bro.
Hey, dude, I had a quick question. I want to pass on that results-driven coaching. Is there an interview for that? Because I imagine the coach is taking on risk.
Oh, yeah, the coach is taking on risk. So we do require that the agent kind of has their legs underneath them. The minimum standard is a minimum of 3 million in sales volume over the course of the last 12 months. Again, if we want to go deeper into that, if they're 3 to 5 million over the last 12 months, what they'll do is before company dollar pay Icon 20% of their gross commission income as their fee for coaching on every deal they close. Yet it caps at $12,000 per year. So the most they're going to pay for coaching is $1,000 a month. Okay. Now, again, let's say they don't cap. They only pay to Icon $9,000. Well, they get the same amount of coaching for $9,000 than if they would have capped. Now, when you apply our methodology, when you apply our strategies and tactics, our intention is that you cap in the first 6 or 7 months with Icon, and then we coach you for free for the remainder of the year. And then your cap resets on an annualized basis. So guys, you really don't have anything to lose. We're going to help you double your production, and that's what this is all about. Now, if you're 5 to 10 million in sales volume, then that 20% drops to 10% over the last 12 months, right? If you're 10 to 20 million, that drops to 5%. If you're 20 to 30 million, it drops to 2.5% of the GCI. And if you're 30 million plus, your fee is only 1.5% of your GCI until you cap at 12,000 per year. So I trust this makes sense to you guys. It's a way that you can get the coaching that you want. It's a way to really find the traction and shortcut the process. I mean, sure, you can learn it on your own, yet how many times you want to bang your head against a brick wall to figure out what does work? Our coaches know what works. They study the market every single day, and they're going to shortcut your process, your pathway to success, okay? So talk to me more. Well, did that address your question?
Yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. That's a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer.
Always innovating, dude. I love it.
Well, it's all about benchmarking and trending, right? To identify the next logical step on the trend line, to make a model that people want to align with so that we can all remain relevant in the future. And that's what we do here at Icon Coaching for you and your business as well. So I appreciate the opportunity, you guys. Please scan that QR code. Do your family a favor, do yourselves a favor. Let's double your production in 2025. Like I said, it's not all about money, yet having a lot of it does help make a lot of things easier.
100%.
Right.
Thank you so much, Shon. I really appreciate you spending the time with our community, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for everybody on this call, we are going to send out the recording. We're also going to send out the link for everybody to be able to register for the coaching. God bless you, brother. Enjoy your family out there. Thank you so much for making the time. Really appreciate you dropping so much knowledge and wisdom on all of our community. And everyone else, stay tuned. We're going to have classes obviously Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're off for the rest of the week. And I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm so grateful to have you all in my life. Thank you so much. See you guys soon. All right. God bless. Talk to you soon.